Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and here we are again. Another day, another couple of carpet cleaning jobs. This is a 15-year-old Berber, Olefin Berber. It is overall in very good condition. This is at least the second time I'm cleaning it. The lady, when I came here, she commented on how much she likes the way the Oxy-Dry process cleans, because it just does such a fantastic job. And she mentioned how rapidly it dries. Very impressed, she said. These Olefin Berbers are actually one of the least expensive carpets that you can get. And a very good carpet. I have it in my own home, in my hall, in my bedrooms, in the office. And I chose it because I know how well it stands up and how well it cleans. With VLM, it cleans very well. It doesn't do so well when it gets steam cleaned, because it does tend to wick. But no problem with VLM. So now this carpet doesn't have any, really doesn't have any visible soiling or staining, although there's a little bit of spotting going on over here, so we'll deal with that when I get there. Other than that, it's actually in very good condition, and I probably don't need to put the fibre pad on, but I'm using the Hogs Hair fibre pad right now. I'm going to go over all the traffic areas anyway, just because the carpet is compressed a little bit, and the fibre pad will pull the yarn up. It'll puff it up a little bit, so that pile lifting effect, which these machines will do very effectively, although for some reason people say they don't, but they absolutely do, particularly if you have the right pad or whatever on it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm primarily doing this just to lift the pile in the traffic areas a little bit. You can literally see the carpet yarn puffing up a little bit. I've done under the couches and under the exercise equipment over there. That area looks fine now, so that was already done. So I won't have to move it while I'm videoing. So, and I'm cleaning with NanoMAAX. NanoMAAX is a 97% food grade plant-based cleaning product with a health rating of 0, which is the lowest rating you can get for a cleaning product. There are a few cleaning products out there that have a health rating of 0, which is the same as water, by the way. And there are some choices out there if that's the kind of product that you're looking for. And more customers are wanting you to use as safe a product as possible, so that's one option. I know the end cap store sells products like that as well, and I believe Vacaway also does, and there's probably a few other products out there. This is a very inexpensive product to use, as are all professional grade products, because they go such a long way, because they work so well. And typically, depending on what product you're using, you would use maybe 1 ounce per gallon, up to, in some cases, up to 8 ounces per gallon, but that would be for extreme soil conditions, which we don't normally deal with, at least for residential. I don't think I've ever used any of my products at their maximum dilution rate on any carpet ever, so it's a pretty rare thing to have to do. So, and the cost of using these products is very small. It's always going to be the least of your expenses. If you're on carpet cleaner and you're wondering, how much does it cost for product? And somebody may say, well, buying professional grade products is expensive, and that's absolutely not true. I just did a video yesterday, posted it, where I talked about that, and in this case, similar to yesterday, I expect I will use about a gallon for this whole job. And in this case, I'm using 2 ounces per gallon of NanoMAAX, and in US pricing, we're talking $1.30, $1.50 worth of product. I haven't had to put any spotting product on anything. I did, okay, that's true. I did a little bit right here. There's a couple of smudgy looking spots here, and I probably used a fraction of a penny right in here. You can't even see them now, they're gone right away. And I find that when I use when you're doing Berber like this, this is where the rotary machine really shows its advantage over an OP, because an OP on this type of carpet tends to want to fight you. It'll want to go the way the pile lays, and the heavier the loop is, the more difficult an OP would be to maneuver on a carpet like this, whereas the rotary doesn't make any difference to it. In fact, it might even be easier. And with the right fiber pad on that, it'll just cut through the soil like a hot knife through butter, as long as you're using a good quality cleaning product, good professional grade product. So I remember a few years back when I was doing a little more experimenting with my OP machines, I was doing a heavy loop Berber carpet with the OP machine, and that machine it was like using a jackhammer. I only used it for a few minutes, and I thought, oh, I can't use this thing. Fortunately, I was also carrying my rotary in the van, so I put the OP back in the van, grabbed my rotary, threw a fiber pad down, and turned it on, and I said, oh my goodness, so much easier to maneuver, and it wasn't fighting me. It would go any direction I want without any effort at all. Go against the grain, go with the grain, go across the grain, doesn't matter. So whenever anybody asks me what I recommend for the home, this actually is the one that I will, I'll say if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, this is it. If you like a Berber, definitely get an Olefin Berber, because they're inexpensive to buy, and they do stand up really well. They're very stain resistant, because olefin is a fiber that is naturally stain resistant anyway. Its only weakness is oils, but you can deal with those if you know what you're doing. Okay, so we will go in here. Need to pull this back. This is my second job of the day, and I'm only doing the 2 jobs today. And tomorrow I have a commercial job to do. Tomorrow is Saturday. And hopefully, my intention tomorrow is to use my 2-speed machine, which I have never actually used. I bought it a few years ago. I never actually used it, so I'm thinking, yeah, I better put this thing to work. So hopefully I'll do a video and talk a little bit about using the 2-speed machine. Let's see how that works out. So I'm primarily with the fiber pad, I'm just primarily concerned about the traffic area. I'm not going right up to the wall, you're probably noticing. Most of the areas anyway. And I'll deal with that when I put the Ironman on. Nobody's been walking along the edge. Oh, one thing I should mention, when you're vacuuming these rugs, these Berbers, is along the edges, dust tends to really collect there because the loops really hold on to dust. So it's a good idea to put your crevice tool on and do all your edges and corners, particularly with a Berber, because most people don't actually do their edges and corners very often, if at all. And that's a step that you should always be doing when you're doing a professional carpet cleaning or your pre-vacuuming, which you always should be doing. Make sure that you take the time and do that detail thoroughly. Okay, I'm done with that one. And I don't know if you can see it, but this was a clean fiber pad, but there is a lot of junk that it grabs and holds onto. These Hogs Hair do pick up a lot, actually. Especially if there's an animal around, there's hair and fur on the carpet. Alrighty, so now this will be the actual extraction stage, and I'll be doing right up to the walls. Notice that I'm working away from my power source, which is what I usually will try to do. And I usually clean going forward. Having the light does make a difference. As you can see, especially as I go from the left to the right, you can see the light is shining up ahead. I'm always scanning the carpet looking for any spots or stains that might be there that sometimes will show up on the light that did not show up when I was pre-vacuuming. That's pretty common actually to have that happen. So that's a good reason to have a nice bright LED light on your machine. And I will post-vacuum this carpet because although it's a Berber and you don't typically or technically need to, because this is lifting the pile, it is sort of giving it a sort of a tussled look, and the running over with the touch-tone vacuum after will help to straighten it out. And I'm noticing there's a little bit of dust that the fiber pad pulled up, just a few little pieces here and there where it actually grabbed and pulled dust up that didn't actually come out with the pre-vacuuming. So another vacuuming will be beneficial, and it's only going to take a few minutes. And when you do take the time to do a really thorough, proper cleaning job, people do notice. I've had people say that to me quite a lot. They're always very impressed with. They'll say to me, "You took a lot longer than the last carpet cleaner that was here, and you were very thorough." And that's important, I think, if you really want to build your business, to be always trying to be faster and faster, try to get more done in the day, is in the end, I think, a misleading way to grow a business. It's not about volume. It's about sometimes it's about less volume and more return on your dollar. kind of like work smart, not hard. I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. My wife was talking to me yesterday, and she's saying how busy we are. She does all the scheduling, and she said, you're doing a lot of big jobs, which is true. And most of the jobs that you're seeing when I record, these are pretty typical for me. I don't do a lot of just 1 or 2 rooms. Most of the jobs I have are decent sized jobs, and so doing more larger jobs rather than a bunch of smaller jobs is more economical. And one of the reasons it is because especially now with the gas prices going up more and more, I mean, if you can do 2 decent sized jobs instead of 4 smaller jobs that are the same dollar amount, you're still going to make more money just doing the 2 decent sized jobs, because you're going to be spending less money and time traveling from job to job. And one way you can do that is by when you get that call for that smaller job, book it out a couple of weeks and leave the closer jobs appointments for the larger appointments that come in, so that they become a priority. And chances are you may end up losing the smaller job, but at the end of the day you'll end up putting more profit into your pocket. I know that's for some guys that seems like might even seem like a harsh thing to do, but well, the fact of the matter is, you're not doing this, well, at least I hope you're not doing it for charity. You're doing it to make a living, and part of the way to make a living is to be efficient with your time and focus on the jobs that actually are going to earn you a decent living. I've been very inexpensive many years ago. We started at $15 a room in a town about an hour south of here, about 30,000 people, and I did a lot of volume in the day, but it was very hard to actually make profit, because I could be out running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I mean, literally running, trying to keep up to the volume of work that I did, and afraid to say no to anybody ever. I just booked every job as soon as I got it, as quick as I could, because well, that's kind of what you do when you're new at it. I was really wanting to get the business established, and that was one of the reasons why I made the pricing so low, as I wanted. I was marketing the dry time and everything, but I wanted the price to be so attractive nobody would have an excuse not to, well, at least try it. And if I went back and did it again, I would do it different, and I wouldn't do it at that rate. Well, that was 27 years ago actually now, so you certainly couldn't do that now anyway. But even now, guys that are going out and trying to do 2 rooms for $80 or $90, well, the reality is that you're actually losing money. So that's not wise economy. It's what you call a flawed business model. You do want volume, but I remember a few years ago there's another guy around town, similar system, used a rotary, and his pricing was almost exactly half of mine at the time. And he actually went out of business, partly because he couldn't find employees to work for him, and he had some health issues. But I always found it interesting to think that he would have to do twice as many jobs in order to earn the same amount of money as me. And I had no problem getting work. I mean, even then, that was like more than 5 years ago now. Even then, I was turning away work that I just couldn't get to it fast enough. So, anyway, that's just some thoughts for you to consider. As you can see, I'm nearly done. Then I got a set of stairs to do. Oh, look how nicely that maneuvers. I did that all with one hand. I don't know if you know that, but the pad is hanging outside the edge there, so I can actually literally wipe down the baseboard as I'm going along. Or at least get up to the edge of it anyway. You can see it's actually touching the baseboard right now. And I just did all the carpet, other than the stairs. Notice how quickly I did all this area. What are we at, like 20, 21, 22 minutes now? Just move the machine over to the base of the steps. Now I pick it up. But there was some marks over there, and they all came out. No problem. Take a quick peek at the pad. Not too bad, eh? That was the upstairs, the bedroom. Obviously much more used. I'm not surprised. Okay, and what did I use? I used about half a gallon. Seriously, half a gallon in there. Because I had it filled up almost. You can see on the front of the machine. Right there is the 2 gallon mark. I had it filled to there. There's the half gallon. So I used a half a gallon, whole job. And the carpet's almost dry. I was actually noticing it was binding a little bit over here. So I was actually adding solution over here a little bit. It's just, yeah, almost dry. Just perfect. Okay, so I will now do the steps. So I'll let you go. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.